go first person. Hey there, one person. Two people now, or was two people. Hey there, person 2. Right, I'm just going to make a drink. Back in a minute. Hi, Iron Fist, you right? I'm just going to do... Yeah, so what I'm going to do today is nothing that exciting or complicated. Just again, some more showing off TTYSH, just really the web browsing part of it. Don't know how much of it I'll show off, but just be some web browsing stuff. Right, back again in a second. Wow, 2 people now. Yeah, so if you're just watching me wondering what I'm doing, I'm just doing a bit of administration stuff, but I will be getting back to doing the TTYSH stuff in a minute. And but in the meantime, if you've got any Linux questions, you know, the usual thing, do ask. And obviously, I'm not necessarily up to speed on Linux news, so yeah, don't hesitate if you want to ask questions or whatever. Ubuntu 25.10 is out. Right, yeah, of course it's October. So of course we'll have, you know, the 1,000+ distribution review videos about it. And it will probably be the same generic distribution that it always is. That being said, is this the version that's going to have the UUtils? Replacing core utilities? That's what I wonder. Oh, it is. So it's replacing core utils with UUtils. Okay. It's the worst that could happen. There's some issues with Flatpaks. Well, to me, Flatpaks are an issue. Same with snaps, and of course app images. Though app images are like the acceptable face of the unacceptable packaging systems. I know it's convenient for some and it's convenient for certain projects, but you know, I'm package manager orientated, as you know, like a lot of Linux people. But hey, I mean, I have a few app images here and there that I occasionally use in the past. I have used really in the past. I can't remember what they are, but they were necessary because I couldn't get packages, or to be fair, it made sense not compiling it all. Maybe it's deliberate that the Flatpaks aren't working because, of course, Ubuntu are all about the snaps, right? Yeah, they prefer snaps. Yeah. Hi, Ahmed. Yeah, so I'm guessing it's going to be a matter of minutes probably before tens, if not hundreds, of generic Ubuntu distro reviews come out. But here's one thing I would say, that if you're now doing say you're doing a distro review on Ubuntu 25.10, right? If you're truly in the Linux know and you can prove that you understand Linux, that even if you're just doing distribution reviews, you should be aware of the UUtils replacing the core utils, right? So any serious Linux person, even if you don't like distro reviews or you don't think they're at any point, surely being that it's a distribution with the core a UUtil, sorry, I can't speak, then that that person reviewing the distro should test out those core utilities, actually give the viewer an understanding that actually this is fundamentally different, that it's not just all the GUI user interface stuff, actually test out the UUtils. But how many of those distro reviewers actually know how to use Linux, let's say, or use Linux from the command line? It would be interesting to know. I'm sure some of them will. And probably on the face of it, a lot of those UUtils, you won't notice the difference. You know, I'm assuming things like grep, sed, awk, ls, cd will just work. But of course, the whole point surely of this distro review is actually testing the changes. But I just wonder if it'll just be more superficial stuff. Maybe a few channels will, like DistroTube and maybe Learn Linux TV. I don't know. I always think Learn Linux TV is a bit sus. I don't know. True, they need to do some testing. DJ Ware probably will. Right. Yeah, I don't want to be harsh to Learn Linux TV. I think Learn Linux TV likes to keep it simpler. Not sure how deep it will go. But I don't know, Learn Linux TV is one of like the most frustrating channels because, to be fair to it, it's got, you know, huge resource of great videos on Crash Course Linux or whatever he calls it, and fundamentals of Linux and all this. But I don't know, like it does feel that the distro review videos are really just like are kind of beneath something like Learn Linux TV. I don't know. But hey, he's got what, 1 million subscribers? Although, like somebody said, he has 1 million subscribers, but none of those videos ever seem to get the views. And I know somebody said a lot of those subscribers are bots. I don't know. Who knows? Also, GNOME 49 will be out, which will come out for Fedora 43 soon after. They're getting rid of some X libraries. Right. Okay, yeah. I think I've heard about all this. See, making it difficult to use Xorg or not having it run out the box or taken out of certain or taking it out of certain repositories even. I don't know. Again, I've sort of heard about this stuff from mainly like Brody Robertson videos, but I forget the finer details. And of course they won't, I'm guessing, replace it with Ex Libra because they have some emotional attachment. To not running Ex Libra. I don't know. I mean, some of the vids, for example, on the Linux command are longer than they need to be. Yeah, well, I guess if you were breaking down some of those videos, and maybe this is a criticism, of course, a lot of those vids now are just like sponsors, advertisement, and like a shop. So like start off the video right with, you know, an introduction, then he will interrupt it for the sponsor, then he'll interrupt it for like selling some merchandise on his channel, then he'll probably interrupt it again at the end, you know, with, I don't know, like some course or something on his channel. Probably like courses are probably very good, even though I don't know, I assume you have to pay for them. But I mean, merchandising or a book, or I don't know. It's like, where do you draw the line with just turning your video into one permanent ad break? And of course, that's just the ads that are built into it, of course, built into the video. That's not the ads that come up from YouTube. Hello, nameless monster. How are you? Like LS, though, there are a lot of flags. Yeah. Yeah, I'm not necessarily against his videos on the Linux command line. I think they're really good, actually. Maybe sometimes he goes a bit too much on the flags or draws it out a bit too long and doesn't, I don't know, just get into it. But I don't know, I just find it somewhat frustrating, the whole advertising stuff. It's one of those things, where do you draw the line between advertising and actually having a video? I think he quit his job to do it full time. Right. Yeah, I guess that makes sense. It's one of those things you wouldn't necessarily say against somebody doing it, but I almost sort of wonder where it becomes like self-immolation, you know. Or almost harms the quality. I don't know. Guess you got to do what you got to do, and he's got 1 million subscribers, so I guess there's money to be made. But if you notice, he doesn't get the views, right? I know subscribers sort of come and go. They don't always stick with you. Nameless monster, I cannot try TTYSH if I am on Debian. Okay, so technically no, in the sense that TTYSH is built around Arch Linux and Artix Linux. So very much like Labs or whatever it's called, you know, the Luke Smith thing, is built around Arch Linux. That being said, if you're so inclined and if you're so minded, and if you know what you're doing and you use Debian, by all means, fork the project on GitHub and make a Debian version. a lot of all you need to do, I assume, is replacing replacing Pacman with apt package manager. I assume most of the package names are the same. And I assume that's it. Yeah, by all means try. Or here you go, I'm going to turn into Learn Linux TV now. If you want me to do that, I might do it, but hey, I don't know, maybe support the channel, or I don't know, throw some money at it, and I'll do it. But by all means, you said you'll try, so good luck. Some Linux stuff will be considered too technical to get a lot of views, like LTT content, I guess. Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Does anybody actually like LTT? Or is it Linus Tech Tips or whatever? Does anybody seriously actually like that channel? I've always wondered about it. Because on the face of it, of course, it's a tech channel. And of course, start a mailing list. Yeah. And I don't know. I literally have never sat through a single Linus Tech Tips video. I find it the most inane thing ever. Yeah, drama channel, of course. I mean, it's all about, the Mr. Beast type of thing. I bought a $10 computer and it runs, some like crazy game or something. And I understand that people want to, on the face of it, want to see that stuff. But I don't know. Something about and I know it's obvious because I do know like almost no editing. No, I do no graphics, intro, outro, and I'm a very, very small channel, right? But there's something about overproduced videos that just get my back up, that really irritate me. It's funny because if you think recently, and I've never really ever watched this video, but that PewDiePie, right? On the face of it, his videos, for example, aren't actually too overproduced. Like even when he does like computer Linux ones, I know it's heavily edited, right? It's obviously got adverts inside the video itself, and he does do various bits of graphics. But to be fair, he doesn't have like an annoying intro or even an outro, I think. So I can just about tolerate maybe a Linux video of his or something like it. Linus channel is more drama. Yeah, I've seen it a couple times. Not really my style, right? I like some of their videos. I love Jeff Geerling, amazing guy. Now, is Jeff Geerling like the huge guy? I don't know, like really like broad person, or am I being rude as overweight person? I don't know. Beats tech content, in my opinion. Oh, best tech content. Oh, okay, fair enough. Yeah, I mean, he's obviously hugely popular in technology video space, I guess. Also, I think TTYSH will only work with Bash. Okay, yeah, no, good point, Nameless Monster. I did get a issue raised on the GitHub saying about it being exclusive to Bash. Yeah, so the main TTYSH file, if you like, is sh in shell. but some of its configuration files, dependency files, other script files, let's say, are written in bash. So yes, it won't necessarily work fully without it being completely POSIX SH compliant. Now I do intend to do that work on it, but haven't got around to it yet. So yeah, you might, unless you've got bash installed, you might have an issue. Maybe ZSH will work, ZSH, I'm not sure. Okay, Jeff Gearling's not huge in body size, just regular. I don't know then. I don't know who he is. By the way, what do you think of Lewis Rossman? How funny you should ask, because obviously, is it Nameless Monster has the Clippy icon there for his name. I'm not going to comment on him in the sense of I don't really know much about him. I've noticed his videos pop up occasionally, and I've tried to watch one or two. On the face of it, he seems like he's a good person for technology. He advocates doing stuff yourself. I think, wasn't it something he did, a right to repair idea? And obviously he objects to large corporations making our use of technology ever more miserable. So I would say on the face of it, he seems pretty good. But in all honesty, I don't know enough about him. I haven't sat through a whole video of his. I've seen bits of his videos very occasionally. So yeah, I'm terrible, aren't I, really? Because I don't really watch tech videos. I'm not. And you know, another thing, I certainly don't watch a lot of big Linux tech channels. Like, I don't know if you've ever seen, there is quite a big Linux tech start again. Linux tech channel called, is it Savvy Nick or something? And again, I look at that and something about it just, it could be like the best channel in the world, but I don't know, I can't sit there and watch that guy's videos. And I don't know if he's the same one, but there's another one that's like, you know, you said about tech drama. There's another one that's like obsessed with Linux drama. Like, he's literally obsessed with the kernel mailing list, and like any little comment, Linus Torvald says, and I just sort of amazed that channels like that get as far as they do. I'm sure they're well produced, so maybe that helps. But the real God Brody. Yeah, I do watch Brody Robertson. Because I quite like Brody Robertson's videos, actually, because to be fair, he is kind of like a tech journalist, a Linux journalist, and yeah, he's more humorous, and I like as well, he's got a reasonably broad range of videos on Linux. He seemingly is quite interested in it all. And I think he does them pretty well. And of course, he does them consistently. I mean, he has a video out almost every day. And they're all pretty interesting. Oh, so they're interesting. Okay. They're not all pretty interesting. There's certainly stuff I'm not interested in, but I think he's a good YouTuber. Even though I've probably taken the mick out of him various times because of Cosmic Desktop. He's obviously obsessed with KDE Cosmic Desktop, you know, which is a complete anathema to me, but whatever. So what do I watch? Well, let's have a look. Let's see who I've got in my I will let you know. Who do I watch? Okay, I'll tell you who I watch, and what I'll do, because he is Aussie and Aussie rules. Yeah. I will say the kind of people that are still regularly uploading videos are the people I watch. Now, that doesn't mean there won't be, say, Luke Smith, for example. Say if Luke Smith uploaded a video again anytime soon, I'd watch that. But obviously, he's not really uploading videos again, so I'm obviously not going to even bother mentioning him, but I will put a little list together in a second. I think most changes I have to make will be in a TTYSH file. Yeah, most changes, most changes in a TTYSH file for your package manager and maybe package names and maybe variations on commands in Debian. I don't know. I assume it's all the same on the command line. If it's back, well, whatever. And then the other thing will be, if you go in the resources folder, you'll probably have to rewrite a lot of the other script files. Some of them might just be changing bin bash to bin sh or however you want to do it. But there might be things like the read command might be -p. You might need to take that out and just have it as read or whatever and take out the prompt, because I think that's not compatible with POSIX. I can't remember. But yeah, good luck. Right, so who do I watch? Okay, here's who I'm watching at the moment, right? Sylvan Franklin. The Primogen. I'll just put Brody Robertson in. I guess I technically watch DistroTube, but whenever he makes a video, I don't know, I almost tune out of what he does now. Just like, I don't know, just a lot of stuff that he makes. I'm not saying it's bad, but it isn't relevant to me. I guess Mental Outlaw. I mean, Mental Outlaw is just sort of like a generic tech channel now. Not generic, but he's good, but I don't know. I would say Learn Linux TV technically, only for like the crash course videos if he does something like that. Okay, yeah, Chris Occhipinti. Now, don't laugh, but I do watch Free Code Camp's podcasts. I don't know why, really. And I don't advocate Free Code Camp at all, unless maybe you really are desperate to become like a web developer, and maybe a developer, but it's usually going to be web dev stuff, but only the podcasts. Who else is there? Late Linux Family, 2.5 admins. Is that a channel? Late Linux Family, is that a channel? That can't be a channel name, surely. Oh, it's like a group of channels, really? I've just searched it and 2.5 admins has come up. Late Linux family. Oh, okay, I've just seen that. Looks interesting. Bread on penguins. Okay. Right. Now I'm going to say something, because I know this will probably upset certain people. Now, I technically don't, how to say this. I have no problem with bread on penguins. And clearly they're very knowledgeable. The only thing I'd say is their channel feels to me like a rehash of like a Luke Smith version of Linux, and covering a lot of stuff that has already been covered over so many years. They're clearly very knowledgeable. Their videos are very well made, and I noticed like some of the scripts or the programs they make are kind of bespoke, but it's really just like literally riffing off of it's literally riffing off of Luke Smith. That's all I'm going to say. I'm not. That probably sounds like I'm being harsh, because they're incredibly popular, and I'm pleased for them. But to me, watching that channel is like just watching a spin of Luke Smith. Sorry, I know that's probably controversial, because like I've never heard a bad thing about that channel from anyone, and I can see why. It's not for me. I don't watch the videos on there. I've tried to, and I just sort of, I don't know. I'm impressed by the video quality. I'm impressed by their knowledge. I'm just not interested in what they have to offer. It feels like it's all been done before. And it's obviously not going to matter what I think. So, well, they got nearly 100,000 subscribers now. Just a Guy Linux about Debian. So, Just a Guy Linux, again, well, to be fair to Just a Guy Linux, he seems to be very knowledgeable. Sorry, I need to start that right. So Just a Guy Linux, wasn't his channel set up as a way to experiment with using Debian, using different desktop environments, different window managers? And to be fair, I think he's clearly not too bad. I don't know if he's made any videos lately, though. I haven't really watched too many of his videos, because I'm not going to be testing out Debian. So I'm not going to be using Debian, so it's not really relevant to me. I know, obviously, if it's just a package on Arch Linux, but I'm not really fussed about what he's testing. Now, it's interesting. I don't think he's... Oh, no, he's still making videos. Okay, he had a little hiatus because he hadn't made a video for about 6 months, and then he's made videos in the last month. But yeah, I mean, seems all right. But I don't know. I don't know what he offers outside of the norm. That's all. I don't know, but it seems all right. I highly recommend you watch Jeff Geerling and on Twitch, Last Miles. That guy's a treasure. Okay, I will be on. I don't watch Twitch. I don't watch it. I don't know if I will. I don't know if I have time. But thanks for the heads up. I'm going to look for Jeff Geerling though. I did look up Last Miles, but I don't watch Twitch. Okay, so Jeff Geerling's like a sort of tech channel, testing out all kinds of stuff. Okay, seems interesting. Might have a look. Okay, here we go. Here we got some more variations on a theme here. How about Veronica Explains? Okay. I'll be honest, I wouldn't be able to sit through a video of Veronica Explains because I just don't. Again, really well made videos, and I guess it's sort of interesting for some people. And I think, to be fair, she does some unique stuff, but I I'm a bit curious that there's this sort of nostalgia computing going on, and I think recently she does a lot of nostalgia computing. Like, for example, what I'm doing, none of what I do, for example, is nostalgia. Okay, I'm not trying to convert a like a computer from the 1980s into a working desktop. That might be completely valid somehow. I don't see it being completely valid. What I try to do is have a perfectly working desktop, for example, that's useful to people, that is arguably as minimal as possible, but it's like future proofing. So when I see people do things that are quote unquote fun, I'm not against that if it's a learning experience. You know, people were learning how to work at low level systems and stuff. But I don't know. I just find a lot of that stuff like pointless, and I don't like the forced tech nostalgia stuff. If it's like a video history on technology, that's fine. But like the whole Commodore 64 thing, I don't know. I just find it pretty cringe, or whatever it was. Blimey, all the female tech YouTubers you're mentioning now. Andrea Borman. I don't know, to be honest. So I've noticed Andrea Borman, but all I'd say is, what are you going to learn from Andrea Borman? Because a lot of those videos, I think, are just like not even distro reviews. Again, I'm not trying to be harsh, but it's very much, I don't know, like superficial stuff. Again, this probably matters to most, like, say, normal people who, you know, want to use a distribution, and maybe that's good. Maybe Andrea Borman's probably the best of the bunch there, because it is sort of regular Linux stuff that is kind of earnest, whereas I find some of the others that have been mentioned, like either knowingly rehashing like DWM setups, or you know, that sort of like Luke Smith cliche video. You know, they're probably well made, but I don't know if they're well-meaning, and I don't know if you're going to get anything from them, but maybe even like a nostalgia hit or a novel. I don't know. It's just like an anathema to me. I can't think of anything worse than making like being like a sidecar to another YouTube creator, if that makes sense. I haven't really explained myself well, but there's all these different people you're mentioning, so I don't know. Somewhere in that answer, hopefully you can understand what I mean. Yeah, I like V on regular Linux stuff, but not so much on retro machines. Yeah, but even like the regular Linux stuff, like what was it? I'm gonna give you an example, right? Even on the regular Linux stuff. Yeah, because I'm sure it was like a video that was like so perfunctory. Yes, there was like literally there was a video on the column command, right? The column command. Now, yes, the column command has technically uses. Back in the day, I even did a video on the column command, right? And a complete video on it. This was before I did my normal like YouTube videos. And there's an 8-minute video on the column command that's got like 200,000 views. And you just sort of like, I don't know. It's just like random stuff. Like there'll be a video on the column command, then there'll be like a video on rsync and whatever, and like the find command, and it's like if you look at that channel, the Linux videos on there it's such an incomplete like experience or knowledge. There's so little to be learnt from that channel. Yet it's got like it gets like those hundreds of thousands of views for these like random pointless commands. That's like, I don't know. Again, it's just like an anathema to me. If I went on that channel, I wouldn't learn anything Linux relevant or related, right? I would learn about the find command, the column command, and rsync. That doesn't like speak to me as a full suite of core utilities or relevant software. You see what I mean? And yet it's got like what 200,000 views. It's just sort of laughable to me. And again, I'm not like trying to be harsh to the person specifically, but none of that makes sense to me. Last Miles is Dennis Clark, a former Sun Microsystems engineer, and he was involved in OpenSolaris, Blast, Wave, software repositories, and other free and open source projects. He knows a lot about Linux. Yeah, so he's the kind of person you want to look at. Laurie, Wide, and Bread on Penguins are crushing it for me at the moment. I like what they do. Their computers like create music. Fair enough. I have no problem with them literally, but I'd be on. I can't watch a Bread on Penguins video. In all seriousness, I can't. I just can't. I sit there and watch it, and I'm just like, I've seen all this stuff before. I've seen all this Luke Smith stuff. You know, X11, DWM. I don't know. Just D menu scripts. It's like I've been there so much. Just don't need more of it. And that's not to say the videos aren't well made. Not to say even that that's what they use and they're not being earnest, but it's just like a certain amount of repetition for me. Laurie Wide. I don't know who Laurie Wide is. Let's have a look. Yeah, I don't know. Again, now they're very popular, so they're obviously doing something right. Maybe they're professional as well. Looks like they're actually a professional industry professional. So would I watch their videos? I don't know. Yeah, the column command needs to be part of maybe a group of commands or whatever per vid. Exactly. Wow, 8 people. Because here's the thing, I've said this before. What gets me is how somebody, say like Chris Occhipinti is, if you literally want to learn Linux or Linux desktop, let's say, from fundamentals, that's who you'd want, because fundamentally Linux desktop is your core utilities, your terminal, I know X11 and whatever. But if you want to learn programming, basically programming principles, Chris Occhipinti is it. But you know, he won't get millions of views. He won't get even hundreds of thousands of views. And to be fair to him as well, it's interesting. His videos are pretty well made. So I don't know why he doesn't get more views. Maybe it's, I don't even think it's like the thumbnails or anything like that, but I don't know. I don't understand it, to be honest. To me, the most interesting stuff about Linux are like the novel, original ideas, people trying to do things that haven't been done before. Particularly, obviously, with the Linux desktop. Because I don't know, I just don't need like another video on DWM. I don't want another Linux desktop like Cosmic. I don't know. You know, for example, where are the people making like 2E or frame buffer, like desktops, for example. And when I say it, I mean like properly in the frame buffer or properly in a TUI. You know, something interesting like that. It's like the whole thing with Omarchi or whatever it's called. I mean, it's literally just another Linux desktop. I mean, it seems that it's popular really because it's got attention behind it, which is fine. And like anything, it's got attention behind it. But just the reasons behind it, I don't get it. It's like if you're a developer, right, which is kind of what it's aimed at. If you're a developer, running an Arch Linux install is surely not a big deal, even in the sense of you can just install, what is it, Cache OS or something? I don't know, it just seems laughable to me. Yeah, because at least something like, what is it, Ruby on Rails, right? This is what TTYSH is best known for. There's clearly a need for something like that. That's some kind of web framework using Ruby, okay? But seriously, who's really asking for Omarchi? Maybe developers need Omarchi. I don't know. It just seems like a complete non-event. Just another distro. Even if it was the best distro in the world, I don't know. Just it's just funny, I think, how things work out. Well, so that went on quite a bit, that whole bit there. Quite interesting take. How about I actually do some TTYSH stuff, right? Not terribly exciting, but we're going to do some TTYSH stuff. Okay, so I'm going to share my screen. Move that. Slime Sushi, hello James. Is TTYSH compatible with Alpine Linux and other lightweight distributions? So earlier somebody asked me, is it compatible with Debian? Now, I would say no, it's not compatible with Alpine Linux or Debian or anything except for Arch Linux or Artix Linux. The reason being, I don't know what Alpine uses as its package manager. I'm guessing it's really lightweight, and I don't know if you have to get all the dependencies and packages yourself. Essentially, it's Arch Linux and Artix compatible because it uses the Pacman package manager, and a lot of the packages it installs are named as such from the AUR and Pacman. So I don't know if there's name differences as well, even if you change the package manager. and of course they've got to be in the repositories. It uses the AUR, which of course is Arch Linux, and Artix Linux as well. So to answer your question simply, it's not technically Alpine Linux compatible, but like somebody else is seemingly doing, you can fork the project and make the changes you need, or if you want to, by all means, throw some money towards the project, and maybe, who knows, I will do an Alpine Linux compatible update or whatever. However, I don't use Alpine Linux. I haven't tested it on Alpine Linux, so I'm almost certain it's not going to work on it because of the packages it uses and the package manager. So by all means, if you want to take on that work yourself, by all means, but I'm afraid it's probably not going to work with Alpine. But I am going to show off some TTYSH magic right now. I say magic, it's not magic really. It's not the most exciting bit of it, but hey. Because what I'm going to show off is the web browsing on it, which, when I say web browsing, modern web browsing. So we'll in the future look at links and stuff like this, the links web browser, that is. Okay, so today we're going to look at modern web browsing on TTYSH. And what this really entails is TTYSH is focused on the Linux console. The TTY, the Linux console being the terminal emulator. Basically, you don't load up X11, you don't load up Wayland. However, I'm not an absolutist on this, and I do make modern web browsing available because that's the way the world works. You still need a modern web browser. That doesn't mean I like that situation. It's just that I accept it, and it's what I do as well. So although up to maybe, depending on how much you use your web browser, which is probably a lot of what you do in TTYSH will be in the Linux console on the TTY. But if you need a modern web browser, you're going to need to load X11 or Wayland. And the nice thing about TTYSH, it does come included with X11 and Wayland, or let me put it another way, i3 and Sway, the window managers. And I also include my .xdefaults file, which just makes it easy for a nice setup to use a terminal. It has Xterm as its terminal, and so we're just going to use that to load a modern web browser. Okay, so let's just sort of get into this now. So if you look at the screen, so on the TTY still, so if I hit TTY or echo term, we're still on the Linux TTY. So we need to, let's start TTYSH and showing the splash screen. So Q to quit out of that. And let's go into S for selection. Now we'll type H for the help. And we're going to load up X11 first, okay? So if I type S for start X, which is the command to start up X11 for the desktop, will start the, what is it, X init RC, which starts up X11, whatever. Look at the Arch wiki for the definitions, because of course you've, whatever. Anyway, so now I've pressed Q to come out the help, and I'm going to type S to start up the X11 server, right? And when it starts up, as you can see, it goes straight into Xterm. Okay, so if I do echo term, you can see we're now in Xterm 256 color. Okay, and from here, I can run TTYSH again, get a splash screen, and if I type H and I go down to, well, it might be at the top. There we go, LibreWolf, lib, okay? And if I type lib and hit enter, as you can see, it's going to load up LibreWolf. Okay, so if I type my website in, that's going to load up my website. Now I'm using this on a virtual machine, so it's going to be slower for me rather than for you, particularly if you're running on bare metal. So just bear with it for a second. I promise you it works, unless my website's down for some reason, which it shouldn't be. There we go, I'm on my website, okay? So there you go, you've got a modern web browser. LibreWolf is out the box a nicely configured version of Firefox, okay? So that's the recommended. Now, technically you can use Firefox, but I'm just showing you how to use LibreWolf, okay? So if I come out of that, and it should just go back to TTYSH, okay? So again, I've got the selection. Now, one of the nice things you can do from the terminal in X11 on TTYSH, so I can type the X key, and that just goes back to TTYSH on the TTY. Okay, so if I do echo term, if I type it properly, echo term, and you see I'm back on the Linux console. Now I'm going to go back into TTYSH, and this time I'm going to start up Wayland or Sway. So actually, technically, what I loaded up previously was i3, the window manager that loaded Xterm. Now we're going to load up Sway. If I go back up the top, it's down here somewhere. Here we go, Sway window manager. Okay, so if I type SW, okay, now we are in Sway, the window manager. It looks basically identical because Sway is a drop-in replacement for i3 on Wayland. Okay, you should know this if you've seen my videos. And then I'm going to load up TTYSH and go past the splash screen. And if I type S, now you might get some errors and this might be because of being on a virtual machine. Hopefully you won't have such errors on your bare metal, whatever. It doesn't matter anyway. It works. It's fine. So if I do the same again, type lib, this is going to open up LibreWolf, as you can see. LibreWolf, and there's my website. I go into my website. And again, it will take a moment to load because I'm on a virtual machine. And I'm got my camera streaming, so it's just running a bit slower. But for you, it will run fast, trust me. There we go. My website, and I come out of that. There you go, that's it. So there you go. Easy to use modern web browsing on TTYSH. Out of the box, you've got i3, you've got Sway, configured to Xterm. Everything should just work. And of course, you can use your terminal as you would normally. So I can type ls, type cd. I can run other commands, other programs. It doesn't limit you. This is just still Sway. This is still just i3. Type clear. If I type clear properly, I can make the console bigger. It doesn't matter. I go back into TTYSH, run TTYSH. There we go. Everything just works. Okay, so that's it really. Just remember that TTYSH is orientated to the Linux console, but it has nice defaults, a nice setup for using the web, the modern web browser, and using graphical user interfaces and window managers like i3. So you're not technically limited. I'm not trying to make life difficult for anyone. So anyway, I hope that gives you more of an insight into the thinking behind TTYSH. Yeah, so if you've got any other questions, guys, before I end the stream. Any Linux questions? Any hot takes on Linux creators, content creators? Honorable Mo says, thoughts on Emacs. So I was asked this yesterday about Emacs, and I can't remember what I said, but really, I'll be honest, I don't have thoughts on Emacs because I've just never seen like a need for it personally. Meaning that if I look at something like Emacs, it's like adding yet another layer on my system that personally I don't need. Now, I know that there will be people out there who advocate it as the best thing ever made, and it's got its own programming language, and it's got its own web browser, it's got its own text editor. You can do anything and everything in it. The only thing I'd say is I feel I can do what I need to without it. But of course, if I did use it, I could be completely converted into using it, of course, as some people have been. I just personally can't see the need for it, and so I haven't invested any time into trying it. Maybe I should. So yeah, I don't have negative thoughts on it. I don't have some emotional attachment to like Vim, where I don't like Emacs. It's just I can't see the need for using it. That doesn't mean I won't use it. That doesn't mean it isn't technically useful, but I'm not in that place to use it, if that makes sense. Some will actually work on Ubuntu, but of course, no Pac-Man. Yeah. Copy that, thanks. No problem. Do you use Emacs? I'm guessing you maybe use it. I don't know. Doom Emacs, right. Now that's one that, is it DistroTube likes? What do you think of it? Yep, and also others named Prot and Blaze on YouTube I follow. Okay, I've never heard of them. Let's have a look. Prot, isn't it? Well, he does a lot of Prot does a lot of interviews. What do you call it? Yeah, interviews. Okay, might be interesting. I will subscribe because I might look into something. Now, was he the one that was on Brodie Robertson's Tech Over Tea channel a year or two back about an article he did about philosophy or something? I don't know. I can't remember. Blaze. Who's Blaze? Joshua Blaze. Okay. Good stuff. Okay. Any last questions before I go? Before I end the stream? Yes, sir. So I'm guessing you got one more question or some more questions. All right. No, just saying thanks. You're welcome. No worries. So yeah, I'll leave it there. There'll be some more TTYSH videos coming out, so have a look at them and enjoy your weekend, guys. And who knows, I'll stream next week, possibly doing some more TTYSH stuff. Otherwise, take care, and I'll see you soon. See you later, Iron Fist. No worries.